Hello everyone. Today I will be featuring something a lot of people probably have wanted to see, and that is a full match with the new CV rework. Sadly, I'm not the one playing. Oh, he just speed boosted. Ah, that's pretty cool. Okay, well, first of all, it's not me playing. Wargaming just released this as an asset that you could download and watch and use and whatever. And I figured you guys are probably fairly interested in seeing what this gameplay looks like. It's a full co-op game, so obviously it's against bots, so obviously they will not be playing as well as a normal human would, and probably AA won't be as strong and blah blah blah. All these things you have to keep in mind. I haven't actually watched this myself. I was quite interested. So R appears to be a speed boost. Based on the icon, I would assume... Oh, they're bombers. No, rocket. Ah, it's one of the new rocket ships. Or, sorry, not rocket ships, rocket planes. I was wondering what the hell that icon was. So as far as I understood, T is, you call that fighter. You can call the fighter to help you with the enemy fighters, or just to patrol. If, I assume, is returning back to the carrier. I'm not entirely certain what the Y key is though, since they don't even have an icon for it yet. Might just be a work in progress. I mean, this whole thing is basically a work in progress, so it would actually make sense. Man, this DD is not having fun. This DD really isn't having fun. But then again, if this was a midway, like an actual midway, not the rework midway, then this DD would already be dead, because he'd just be cross-dropped by 2 Torp squads and that would be the end of it. Okay, so the squad died. The squad died and he's back to the carrier. Whoa, and they take off. And these look like bombers, actually. What are all those planes we're seeing on the minimap, though? Are they just the spotter planes? No, they look like full fighter squads. Interesting. I wonder what those are all about. Because I didn't actually see him call the fighter squad a single time. So I'm not entirely certain what those are. Are those just the empty planes you have to wait for to fly back to your ship when you've used all the armament, or? I'm not entirely certain. Going for the DD? No, he's going for the battleship. These are the normal bombers then. You're very quick back into the action though, when you lose a squad. Like the way you saw him lose that squad, he was back into the action almost instantly. So obviously they want that to be a bit of a focus there. We're seeing the same thing we saw in the earlier preview, and that's that the damage isn't actually that impressive, but the chance of starting fires seems to be extremely high. So obviously they want to focus on it being more about dot damage than instant alpha damage. That's a second fire. I do like the new AA effects though. I actually like the AA a lot more, the way that explodes around you. There's this speed boost to catch up to him faster. Oh, he's gonna outrun him, isn't it? Or can you adjust it? Nope, not fast enough. I reckon hitting like actively evading cruisers or destroyers with the bombers at least seems to be quite difficult, unless you happen to line it up perfectly, but I guess that's where individual skill will come in. Note that when the I think you can see the health bars at the bottom, when the planes take some damage, they start smoking and the icon turns yellow. When they take a lot of damage and start burning, then they turn red on that health bar thing at the bottom, and when they're green they're obviously full HP. So I guess that's the way you keep track of your squadron health. Oh, he's Okay, he was ordering his own... he was ordering the carrier around. I guess just turning around in a circle. Look how fast you get back into the battle though. And he's not even using the speed boost yet. I assume the idea of the speed boost is to be like to charge through AA and stuff. And or if you really need to help someone, you need to strike someone quickly, you can use the speed boost for that. They split off, and then of course the longer you aim, the more accurate your torps become. I think the UI is bugging a bit. Yeah, I think the UI is actually bugging here because it's supposed to get narrower. Unless they've changed something? How many torps will I hit? I only landed one. Huh. Wonder what that was about. I'm a bit confused. I thought the idea was the longer you line it up, the better your dispersion, so to say, with the torpedoes was supposed to become. And now we're seeing it. You see how much narrower it got the longer he stayed on it? I'm not sure, maybe because he was turning so much earlier? I mean, those are of course values that can easily be fine-tuned though. Those are things that will be so easy to fine-tune, just like you can make the accuracy improve faster or slower and so forth. Like things like damage, fire chance, how fast some of these things happen. These are all things that can easily be changed just by changing a few numbers. The base mechanics is what we should be mostly focusing on. Oh yeah, now if he flies in a straight line, meaning if you line it up well, then obviously the dispersion or the torpedo spread becomes narrower significantly faster. Because compared to the Fuso drops, that spread was very narrow very quickly, and I guess that's because he didn't change his course at all. So I guess the idea is to reward pre-planning the strike. This AA is shredding him though. You see how he's on fire, the plane is on fire, and the health bar is red? I guess that means the next chunk will kill him, as it did. Now Midway is on fire. I'm surprised he's not using the speed boost thing to get there faster. I haven't really seen him use it much at all. Maybe forgetting it exists. That tends to happen when you play new ships in new classes. Now he's using it. Oh, and he called the fighter squad here as well. Yeah, you saw the way as soon as he adjusted his course, the torpedo spread instantly started widening. So obviously the idea is they don't like you to be able to adjust it too much once you have committed for the strike. You can still drop the torps incredibly close range. You see the smoking planes? Those are all the ones with the yellow health bars. I like that there's a visual feedback on that though. Is that defensive AA? Because it didn't seem to be able to... Like, that torpedo spread didn't seem to narrow at all. They didn't even hit anything? I guess he dropped too close, maybe? I wasn't paying attention, maybe he didn't drop close enough. Or he dropped too close, then it. Oh, and that squad got shot down as well. Oh, that sound actually comes from the vid. I was wondering what that sound was. That's from the vid, in case you guys were wondering if your your computer was acting up. I mean, the first thing that is obvious is that the power of the carrier has been toned down significantly. If this was a like old Midway, I'm pretty sure it would have killed the entire team already. Like we're almost 11 minutes into the game. The old Midway would have killed this entire team already. So obviously the output has been significantly decreased, which is pretty much what was needed, because the current carriers had kind of combined the ability to spot and scout everything, strike everything, and be immune to damage at the same time, which made for a very unenjoyable experience for pretty much every other player on the server. So it seems like they've really taken that to heart with this. In fact, the fundamental issue, of course, with carriers was how disjointed the current carrier gameplay was from all the other classes. Like, right now you can play a destroyer, and then you can play a cruiser, and then you can play a battleship, and even though they handle and behave slightly differently and so forth, the skills you have learned and accumulated are still very relevant across all the classes. But then if you play a carrier, then suddenly you're playing this RTS top-down point-and-click experience that isn't really related to anything else in the game. And I guess that's what they really want to move away with, this more arcadey action type of approach. How they manage to make it work and balance it is going to be another issue, but I can see why they chose to make the decision. This thing seems to have a really high fire chance. The damage is underwhelming and the pen doesn't seem too good. That was 12 shatters on the missiles or rockets there. But the fire chance seems very good. Maybe because you're landing so many of them. He's calling another one of those fighter squadrons again. Lining up the drop from behind. That looks pretty good. Oh, no, he's letting it slip past. Huh, there is a bit of a delay. You did notice that after you drop, there's a bit of a delay until the bombs actually land. And the UI indicator doesn't actually show you where the delayed bombs are going to drop, so you do have to lead. You do have to lead. I was wondering if the UI would have any predictive tendencies, but nope. You have to take the lead into account yourself, which this guy is not doing. These bombs should drop at the back of the ship. That dispersion, that seems a bit, I don't know. But once again, those are of course values that can be, easily be fine-tuned. But that bomb dispersion looked pretty horrible, considering how long he has to line these bombs up. Then again, it might be that the idea is it's supposed to be more effective against battleships than cruisers, which means the wider dispersion means it's easier for cruisers to dodge. But in general, I would like to see good play being rewarded and bad play punished, not good play being maybe rewarded by RNG. Oh, and it looks like this game is about to end, and that's going to be the end of our little co-op game. So there's a first look of how the upcoming carrier gameplay might look like. Like it or hate it, that's probably the approach that Wargaming are going to be moving in. At this point, I'm honestly pretty neutral, because, well, first of all, I really hate the current iteration of carriers, because I think they're too strong for the game right now, and it can greatly affect my enjoyment in your average game. If the enemy team gets a good carrier and your team doesn't, then it's already going to be a rough game from the get-go, and this kind of balance is of course very unfortunate. So a rework was absolutely needed. Is this the rework I would have chosen? I don't know. Depends on how it will play. But I hope you guys enjoyed this first taste of CV gameplay. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great one.